Welcome to Paint to Pixels, the show that brings modern art straight to your desktop. My name is Jack McNabola and today we'll be covering over tattoos, computer games art and the evolution of dance. Stick around to find out more. Welcome to Paint to Pixels, the show that introducing all art from canvas to screen. Tattoos have become a prominent element of our culture, from small decorative tattoos to full body art. We will see it all. How does the recent trend of video games fit into and what makes modern twist on tattoos so appealing? Let's find out.
If, like me, you spent half your childhood glued to the screen, playing video games, they'll always have a special part in your heart. To celebrate the new release of Crash Bandicoot in June, I want to tattoo my favourite character. All I need to find out is, would it look better in colour or in black and white?
I'm here at Anglia Ruskin University to speak with the game design students about how video games had influence in the society in the last 40 years.
Video games can connect with people because they get invested in it, and it may be something as simple as they see something and they just like the look of it, like it's a logo or a symbol or a character that they just really like the design of, and they're just like, yeah, I really like that, let's just get that tattooed for some reason. Or it's a game that has maybe a deeper meaning to them, like it helped them through a tough time or helped them with like friends and family and that kind of thing. For Crash Bandicoot, if it's the character Crash itself, I'd say a colour is probably best, because if you just get his face, it just look a bit odd, I think. Like the orange colour of Crash is very like a defining feature of his character. So.
I've arranged to meet up with someone who has only black ink tattoos. Let's see if he can convince me to go the same route.
I got the fish going down. It's a type of black moor goldfish kind of fish. And I made the head darker than the rest of the body, so it starts off really dark here, and it slowly, gradually gets a bit lighter and greyer. And I've outlined most of the fins to make it more movement, so he kind of looks like he's swimming. I decided to get this tattoo because I'm very into games, and so is my best friend. We both share a common interest in the minigame Legend of Zelda that has a mini fishing game, so we both got a joint fish tattoo. I preferred the black tattoo because, for one, colour doesn't really show up well on my skin and it would fade, and also I think it has a dramatic effect.
I'm in Tattoo Crazy, the heart of Cambridge, to talk with Nathaniel, one of the tattoo artists. He'll explain to me why a video game should be in colours. Let's go.
With an amazing tattoo of the mask from Crash Bandicoot on his leg, he seems like the right guy to speak to.
I've done a lot of video game characters. They're really good fun to do. I did a little Lego minifigure at one point, Emmett from the Lego movie, if you know that. I did him, and he was a lot of fun to do. Had all sorts of different like lighting on it, and different shades of all different colours. It was really fun to do. When you do a colour piece, you can put two colours next to each other, and they're completely different colours, and that gives you a good contrast. But with black and grey, you don't have that option. You have black next to black, so you have to like shade in such a way that makes the tattoo effective still with the contrast, but just using one colour. I'm getting all colour tattoos. I really like how they look and how bright the colours look in the skin.
Well guys, I don't know about you, but I've made up my mind. Vibrant colours will bring my video game characters alive.
So hello, Whereas, welcome to the show. How are you feeling today?
Hello, I'm fine.
Awesome, that's great. So I just wanted to talk about like what made you get your first tattoo? Like,
well, I was 17, I was still in school, and I decided that I really wanted a tattoo, and I also really like Celtic and Norse mythology, so I decided to get one done from there.
Oh wow, Celtic, it's very nice. So after, like, how many tattoos do you have like on you? Like,
well, theoretically I have 5, but really more 4 and 1/3 actually.
4 and 1/3?
Yes.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Still haven't finished my last one.
So I finished the last one.
Yes.
So, like, do your tattoos like mean anything to you? Like, they symbolic? Like,
Well, the
How do you
first two do the Yggdrasil from Celtic and Norse mythology, which I really like, and then my second one is the Durin's Doors from Lord of the Rings, and I really like Lord of the Rings and Tolkien. I'm a literature student as well, so it fits. And then the rest were not exactly impulse, but it didn't really have much of a meaning.
No. Yeah. Do you believe that tattoos have to carry a special meaning, like to others? Like what do you think about that?
Well, to some people they say, "Oh, my tattoo has so much meaning for me," but then you see the same tattoos on a lot of people, and you always wonder, is that really special to you, or do you just want to be part
It's
of the
just there
crowd?
for the trend,
Yes.
yeah. Well, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, do you think tattoos should be done professionally, or just?
Well, not really. My first tattoo was done in a studio, and then the rest of them were done in the room of a friend of mine's house. Much cheaper, and everything was clean, so it should be fine. But you do have to make sure that everything is clean.
Oh yeah, of course. Like make sure everything's clean.
Yes.
Obviously, yeah. So, and lastly, do you have any like new tattoos coming like in the future?
Well, I have to finish the Dali skull, the one that's on my right thigh. And then I'm thinking of doing writing from Lord of the Rings, a phrase from Animal Farm, maybe another skull.
Is there any particular kind of phrase from Lord of the Rings writing that you have in mind?
Well, I'd like the writing from the ring in Elvish. So
yeah.
one ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, etc.
That is very cool.
Yes, thank
Right.
you.
Well, thank you, Aries, for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much.
Next, we'll be looking at computer games art. This contemporary art form is becoming a very popular course choice for creative university students. We're here speaking with Bianca, and computer games art student, and Matthew, the course lecturer. Welcome to the show, guys. How are you guys doing today?
Great, thank you.
Awesome.
good,
Yeah,
thanks.
you doing, yeah? Awesome, that's great. So I'd just like to start by saying, what sparked your interest in computer games art, and why is it becoming such an increasingly popular course subject?
When I was at college, I used to play video games all the time. And at college, I actually studied product design, business and computing. And I was originally going to be doing business at university until someone who used to go to my college came in and gave a talk about how she did business at university, and then she hated it and she decided to go back to her programming roots.
Oh,
And she was the lead artist on Halo 2.
Oh, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, and so I thought, well, I'm not very good at programming, so I fell back to my art roots, which was product design, and I went and studied at University of Derby, computer games modelling and animation.
That's interesting.
And then just carried on loving making games. There is a big difference between playing games and making games, and I fell into that category of I enjoyed making games more than I enjoyed playing them. So I carried on, and yeah.
Wow, that's really good. Nice one, mate. Bianca, what sparked your interest in computer games art, and like, what do you think it's such an increasing subject?
Well, for me, I got into both video games and art more seriously around the same time. So my love for them evolved like gradually at the same time. And I actually wanted to study graphic design at university, like about 1.5 years before this. But then I realized that there's this course here in England, so I decided to come here to study this, because really what I was thinking about when I wanted to study graphic design is maybe afterwards I would be able to get a job in video games, like in concept art, or something like that. So that's it for me. And why I think it's growing is because video games are growing as well, and there's a whole new generation growing up who are growing up with video games in their lives, and hopefully a lot more people are going to choose it to express themselves.
Could you just like tell us a little bit more about your work? Like, could you elaborate on that?
Of course, I'm mostly into character art.
Oh, fair.
Because before this, I was mostly drawing characters as well in 2D, sorry, and now I can bring them to life in 3D, and that's amazing for me. And we can use different softwares. We can use Maya or ZBrush or anything else. Basically, I mostly use ZBrush because it's more convenient for me.
Okay.
It's like sculpting, but digitally. And that really works out for me because I like really realistic stuff, and that's what I'm aiming for. I'm not really good yet, but I'm working on it. So
you're working on it, so that's all that matters.
Hopefully it's going to be fine.
So what do you think the future is for computer games art? Like, where do you think it's going to go? It's going to progress, or?
It's quite a fast-paced industry, the games industry is anyway. There's always new technology coming around the corner. We've just had the introduction to physical-based rendering, which was pioneered by Disney.
Oh,
but it's only just come into video games now with the new generation of consoles.
Yeah.
So it's quite a fast-paced industry, so you have to be quite good at self-learning. On top of it. VR is a new big thing. I haven't seen it take off much on the commercial side, like gamers, but it's definitely being used more and more for like education purposes. So there is that route. More realistic graphics, more storytelling in games as well. There's been people want more storytelling in games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they don't just want to be led down a linear path. I won't mention any games there.
Oh,
and yeah, so it involves having skilled workers to do this. It's more and more becoming apparent that you need a university degree to actually go into the games industry.
But yeah, I completely agree with that. Like, definitely. So I'd like to ask again, and when it comes to your career prospects, I mean, what would you say is the potential studies for considering this course?
So we're very fortunate that about 20% of the games industry is based. The UK's games industry is based in Cambridge. As a course, we work with all the local studios, whether that's exposing the students to networking events.
Okay.
We run a Get Into Games event where we invite the local industry to come and look at student work from all 3 years. We also run Brains Eden at ARU, which is a 48-hour games jam, which is a global games jam where 31 teams come to compete.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard about this.
Yeah, and we also have career talks throughout the year from contacts from the lecturers. We've just had a talk from Seth, who's a senior character artist at Infinity Ward. Yeah, one of the big things is making sure the university works with the local industry to make sure we're teaching the relevant software and processes.
Right, well, thank you for coming on the show. It's nice to meet you. So, yeah, it's great. So, hope you guys have a lovely day.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Don't worry about it.
Hi, I'm Chris Mead, a drama student studying at Anglia Ruskin University. As a performer, I was incredibly interested to see Cambridge Contemporary Dance Group's performance Cross Purposes. I'm off to Homerton College to see the people behind the show. My first interview looks at the interesting use of singing bowls to create music.
I use these Tibetan singing bowls to heal people, to relax them, to take their brainwaves down from beta, as we are now, very agitated, into meditative state, and beyond that to sleep.
Do you do anything towards translating the emotions of a character that's on stage into your music?
Gosh, I would like to. The challenge I have, well, limitation of skill is probably one of them, but one of the things is in the nature of the bowls. In other words, if I just play something, I will demonstrate. It goes a long time. It doesn't just play a note.
Yeah.
So I need to quickly react to their changing emotion. The bowl is still going. So I'd have to kind of stop it like this. So all of it was very fresh and very uncomfortable and very, ooh, this is very new. And when I talked to the musicians, they all said exactly the same thing.
Excellent, excellent. And finally, would you mind maybe giving us a little trial, playing a little something for us?
I'll give you a little something. Okay.
Excellent.
One of the more ridiculous things you'll do in your life. So because it's at the top of the spine, the sound can go all the way down to your bottom, basically. So whatever the camera can hear, he can feel a lot more than you can.
That's an incredible feeling. I feel like my voice sounds slightly different. That's pretty incredible. I don't know if we'll take it off now. If that's Oh,
there you go.
Oh, I feel very strange. Like like I've just washed my mouth out or something. Yeah, that's incredible. Thank you very much for that.
Very well.
The use of singing bowls really piqued my interest, but I wanted to find out more about how all these people came together.
Also working together on a regular basis, taking each other idea. That's what kind of like brought us together in a dancing art form, and that's where we kind of like found each other.
Maybe you could take us a bit through the process. How do you get involved with a project like this?
Well, with this particular one, I think we started last summer, roughly, and we had just at that point one musician and one dancer. Hannah and Giovanni, and they had to perform a festival here in Cambridge. And we were after a musician to improvise on a live performance, and then Giovanni when they appeared, and that's.
So you started originally with only two. And how many do you have now?
We are 10, 5 musicians and 5 dancers.
Lastly, I wanted to find out more about the meaning of the piece.
Would you say there's a clear narrative to the routine, a clear story from beginning to end? And do you particularly know what that is, or do you think that's personal to the dancers?
The main theme is the communication, and we try to show different phases of the communication. Some very intimate, personal, the other one very chaotic, neurotic, even angry.
But what made you choose contemporary dance maybe over other art forms to come to?
Instead of going to a classical ballet school or going to modern, I just went straight to the contemporary dance school.
So if it feels like a lot more fluent and personal watching some contemporary as opposed to watching ballet, where maybe the ballet dancer is just a canvas for what the director would want, like rather than the dancers expressing themselves.
What an experience. It's really easy to see how each performer learns and grows through their dance and music. And it's also really refreshing to see that physical performance still has a place in the digital world. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Thank you for watching.
Dance is one of the most diverse art forms in the world, from classical ballet to electro dance. Today we are joined by Keithna to talk about Bollywood dance. Welcome to the show. I'd like to start to know, what sparked your interest in dance?
I think I can actually trace it back to when I was about 6 years old.
6 years old?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot of Bollywood watching, and there's so much dance everywhere in India. Like there, even where I'm from, even in funerals, there are people playing the drums and dancing. So you're never scarce from dancing in India.
Oh wow, that's impressive. Wow, I like that. What makes Bollywood dance unique compared to other dance forms?
I think the most unique thing about Bollywood is the amount of energy it brings in to the form. So most others they're energetic, but they're not consistently energetic.
Okay.
With Bollywood, it's like a constant burst of energy, and there's no sort of toning down of it. And I think one more thing about Bollywood is if you can literally do it if you know how to just move your legs.
Oh, I'll keep that in mind. Yeah. I'd say, is dance something you just do for fun, or is it like a professional thing that you take serious?
For me, I would say it's partially professional as well, because I'm a classically trained Bharatanatyam dancer.
Yeah.
So I perform a lot at home in India, so around the country and everywhere. So
oh wow, that's
more
great.
of a professional thing for me as well.
Oh, okay, great. Sorry, I have to ask, would you mind just doing a demonstration of what kind of Bollywood dance would be like?
Oh, definitely. That'd be brilliant, yeah.
Oh, that's great, fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Thank you all for watching. We'll finish with a dance performance from Keithna. So see you all this time next week on Paint to Pixels.